Searching podcasts for Dave, and one more time.
It's that time of year in the Deep South when it's beginning to feel a lot like the holidays. Thanksgiving food? Nah. Christmas music? Nah. It's that beautiful smell of lint burning when you turn your home heater on for the first time. Smells like happiness. And speaking of smelly things, this is Dave and Juan.
And 3.
Number 2.
Follow that with a 1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Gobble, gobble, gobble. America, you.
You're welcome.
Welcome. I'm sitting there thinking, we know we have a lot to be grateful for this week. It's Thanksgiving week. But hey, cherry on the cake is, hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Dave.
I'm Juan.
And this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
Here to give you more things to be thankful for.
Just when you thought it couldn't get better.
That's right. Maybe some of you may be listening to this on Thanksgiving Day.
Right. Call the family around the fire.
That's right. Warm your collective hearts with the wit and wisdom of Dave and Juan. We are doing this. So those of you that are used to the podcast dropping like just consistently on a Monday night, we had to postpone it one day this week. That's on me. I was back in Louisiana. I don't know. We're getting lazy. I used to, when I was in Louisiana, I would find ways to carve out in the middle of stuff. I'd be in a closet somewhere.
Dude, I was glad when you texted yesterday because I was beat, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when like, oh, hey, Juan can't do it. I could take a break, but a good time. I was in Louisiana for several things. I was able to combine a few things, but the main one was to attend a wedding. My good friend Raleigh, who I believe you know Raleigh. He's actually
been Raleigh here before.
He wasn't getting married, by the way. It's his daughter. But we have actually, Raleigh's actually been on.
Raleigh's been on here. Yeah, because you called him one time when we had that little story about when you stayed at my residence hotel room in Florida.
Correct. So his daughter was wed on Saturday, so it was very nice to be there for that. It was beautiful
down the bay.
It was in Houma, actually, at a big at a cathedral in Houma, and it's always kind of funny. Like it was because my wife said the same thing. It was a good old throwback, traditional Catholic wedding. They had 9 groomsmen.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. It took. I want to say it took 15 minutes for the initial.
Yeah, it's like, hey, are y'all gonna cut in the sermon time for this? Because otherwise we running long.
Yeah, they pulled it off. I think we got it in under an hour, but it was very nice. It was a opportunity. I saw people, and we kid about how long it's been. There are people I have not seen in 30 years.
Yeah.
Plus.
Oh yeah. All the time. Or I tell you, I mean, we mentioned that. You go to a funeral or wedding, there's people you hadn't seen, and some of them you remember. Don't, and unfortunately, the ones you don't seem to be the ones that remember you.
Mm-hmm. I was on the back. Also, we didn't sit too far up. We sitting toward the back of the church, and I looked around for the sign of peace is what we do, because I'm still a pretty well trained Catholic boy from my younger days that you're not supposed to turn around in church. All right, we were always so I didn't know who was sitting behind me in church until it came time for the sign of peace.
So like the big reveal.
It wasn't on purpose, but big reveal yesterday. I turned around and it's Brian Curall, who's a bit younger than me, but we're all older now.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught myself like, but his mom was there too, Miss Glenda Curall, who was one of my favorite teachers back in the day. So I saw her later and I said, I was glad to see Brian because I was hoping that meant he drove you here. So,
that's very nice. Very nice.
And then later on, I get to the reception, and you'd appreciate this because we've joked about reunions, and I didn't make my 40th reunion because we had things going on. And there's certain, you got to figure that there's some people that you might not have got along with back then or after, and man, I hate that guy. And that's the only way you remember it, right? So if you literally have not thought of someone in decades or no reason to, you kind of stuck with that last snapshot, right? So so whoever was cool, you still think maybe they're cool or not or whatever. And I thought, and I'd seen this guy a couple of times, and I was thinking, I'm petty. I'm a real petty guy, but it's 30
Well, he might
something.
be more mature 40 years later.
Yeah, he's not. He wasn't. And I felt like a fool, man, because I was at a funeral about a year or so ago, and I saw that cat, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like being a big guy today, and he apparently didn't feel like being a big guy, so no worries. As we get, and it was lucky my wife was standing there, but she's worried about something else. She literally didn't see this happen. As I'm coming up to the steps to this it's a plantation. It's a very nice Delacroix, whatever the plantation is. It's in Shriever, almost into Thibodeau. I'm on the steps and waiting to sign the book to get in as like a line. And dude, who am I right behind? And then it becomes really obvious. Like, wow, okay,
Looking around.
okay, man, I was the bigger guy.
At least it wasn't him behind you in church to do the sign of peace.
No, that would have been interesting. But no, so I tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned around. And we shook hands. I said, "Hey, man!" And he just said my name. Hey, Dave Martin. Turn back around. He didn't.
So
He didn't
he
introduce me
obviously
to.
was
Didn't introduce me to
as
his wife.
excited to see you as you were to see him.
And it was so. And at first, I almost pulled the. Oh, now I'm going to play this up. Now I'm going to start asking questions. Now, and then I just started giggling to myself. And thankfully, my wife was busy doing something else. She didn't even see me tap the guy and say hi and everything. But it made me feel good. It's like, oh, okay, I was right all along. I can go back to not, because a few other times at the reception, I saw this person coming, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't got to worry about talking to you. But
Yeah. Well, I went to high school with this girl. I may have mentioned this before, and her and I are Facebook friends. She lives in Kansas now, so I mean, the chances of us ever seeing each other are slim and none.
correct.
And we're politically opposite, but
There you go.
we acknowledge that we are.
Mm-hmm.
And are civil, and said that same people who have different opinions can't have this type of conversation. But anyway, early on, a couple of years ago, she sent me a note through like Messenger or whatever. And I read it. And she said, I didn't think you were an a-hole in high school. I was like, well, that's an odd thing, but I guess that's nice. Then, like a couple of days later, I went back and reread it, and I read it wrong. It was, I thought you were.
Well,
Well, yeah, all right.
watch
Yeah.
yourself on that. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want to come back and finish the story, but it's funny you say that. Today I was driving back so it's Monday. We're driving back to Texas. And I know I'm not supposed to be reading email while I'm driving, but we were in horrific traffic and, along the way, and cane trucks and everything, and not going very fast, stoplights kind of stuff. So, it's a work day. I'm technically
Right. It's a work day and Thanksgiving week, so traffic's who
yeah,
knows
and
what time it is,
and
but you got stuff
and
to do.
and plus a work day for me. I got people that are sending me things,
Yeah.
and I read this email, and I have to remember, because I'm gonna get a column out of this about remembering that the mood you're in when you're reading something will totally impact what you're
Your
reading.
response.
Because I read the email coming and going, and man, it peed me off. I was just like, I felt my blood like I got all mad, and I'm like, I can't. I don't know if you even told my wife that made a comment about it, and then later on, it stopped. Maybe 10, 15 minutes later, we needed gas. Pulled over for gas, and while I'm pumping gas, I pulled my phone out again and I reread the email, and it wasn't nearly what. It's almost like I missed words in there. I'm like, oh, it's actually very polite and upbeat, and it's not as
Not as I'm bad with that because I'll read quick, and
you can't skim.
then it ticks me off. But there are also the ones that legitimately tick me off, whether I read them fast or not. And I move it out of my inbox because I'm not going to respond to it. I don't want to see it, but I don't want to delete it in case I want to tick myself off at this person again.
Let me see.
We'll just put it in some little used folder.
Let me save that. Yeah. But the funny couple funny things. So again, beautiful at this plantation, beautiful as you would expect. You wouldn't expect anything less from Raleigh and his wife. I mean, his daughter was lovely, the groom's good
Kind of
looking
wedding
dude.
that make you glad you have sons.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But I don't know how that works anymore. I think they split. Don't
I don't
they?
know. I mentioned the word elope to my daughter a lot.
I would, after seeing this one, you probably think, it's pretty. Don't get me wrong, but so it's at this at a plantation, and I forget what it's called. You know the one I'm talking about. It's either Delacroix.
I don't. I only know Southdown Plantation down
Okay,
there.
no. This one is it's in Schriever. It's right off the, like, if you're coming from Homa to Thibodeau, and boy, the rest of the country listening to this is really scintillating
Is it on
conversation for
311
you.
or is it on the main road?
No, not
311 is like
311.
the bypass road.
Yeah, but you get off at 311, you get back on. I mean, it's just a clean shot down from Nichols. It's not far from the car dealership and stuff. Anyway, you've seen it a lot. Lovely, redone, okay. But the one thing it really doesn't have is a parking lot. Okay, so it's got a little area with sort of shells, rocks, and then the rest is just grass. So I don't know how many people were at the reception, but it was a few people. It was more than a little bit. There was a good bit of people. And it's a
More
caravan.
people than could park on the shelves.
Caravan from Homa coming to Schriever and making a U-turn on the road to get to this thing. And I'm pulling up, right? Very nice thing. And I'm looking where they got a couple yawns out there in the vest and the flashlights, because it's dark. It was a 6 o'clock wedding. We're probably 7:30, 7:45, or give or take, pulling in there. Grass is wet. I've decided I'm not going to listen to you out here with a vest and a flashlight, bro. Sorry, I'm not going to roll you over, and I could see some spots in the shells. I can see, like, wait, right there. I can put my car right there. My wife's a rule follower, right? And she is, and I don't want to be getting yelled at as I pull into. And in fact, I start putting my window down to talk to the guys, to tell them what I'm fixing to do, right? And she's like, "You can't." I said, "Honey," I said, "I'm from Texas. You think they're gonna tow me?"
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Tell me to leave?
But she leaned on me and she said, "No, I don't want you to." So I followed the rules and went park in the freaking grass, right? I'm wearing a suit. She's wearing, nice dress, probably new shoes, because that's the thing.
Heels.
Heels.
Was the grass damp by this point?
Oh, damp. Man, it was beyond damp. It was wet. And I made a joke walking there. And then we start walking, and it's not a short distance. We had to probably walk 30 yards, 40 yards to get to the shells. And that's really what you want, because then you can get your shoes all wet.
Right. I'd say wet shoes on shells.
And then you pick up the dust from look, it's what it is. I mean, it's a beautiful plant. Everything is beautiful, and that was my joke, is that you got to love the Bayou. You can come to the nicest thing you can imagine, and you're still walking through a cow pasture to get where you're going. Yeah. But it was lovely. We stomped it. And as we're walking, my dear lovely wife is telling me, "Oh, it's kind of wet out here." And I was like,
Yeah. I kind of told you.
How'd you like? Yeah. Kind of wish I
so
would have.
Much shell dust on your feet. You got to walk back to the grass to clean your shoes.
She literally did that. Literally got on and got, as we approached the plantation, right? She's back in the grass. I'm like, it's you defeating the purpose, honey. It's not gonna. But lovely. We get in there, and it's an outdoor, so it's indoor with the plantation, outdoor, big tent, nice band, beautiful setup. And was in time to see the first dance going.
Yeah.
And then Raleigh was the next, and they were kind of waiting for the band to get whatever. So I was snapping a picture. I was off in the distance, and I snapped the picture. He saw me, he turns around, he goes, "I better make the More Time podcast this week." I said, "Dude," "you're going to be the picture. We're going to make
right. You're in the A block, dude.
We're going to make
if we had such a thing.
Yes, you're in the A block. Hey, you know what, man? Listen, I give credit because my wife and I would have both lost this bet because we talked about, first dances and songs, songs you hear. The father daughter dance, and it was a lovely version of it because it was a girl singing it, just a lovely slowed down, almost acoustical version of "Sweet Child of Mine."
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, man. Hey, don't be blaspheming.
I get, well, yeah, I
And
don't
I
know what
was
the
like,
song's actually about, but
I don't know. I got to go back and listen to
yeah.
I mean, I get it.
I
It's
mean,
sweet,
lyrically, it's the hook is great.
sweet child of mine. But it
Yeah.
was because when it starts, we were looking at each other going, is that what
Yeah. Going on.
I said, look at that. Look at that. But yet, that was only the second place. Well, this was much, much longer because my wife and I, to this day, talk about a wedding we went to. I mean, totally different animal. This other wedding was, I think it was in a firehouse or a fire. It was one of these. Wasn't a full mass. It was, I guess a justice of the peace kind of deal where the reception's going to
Yeah,
be.
probably getting, if you're doing things in a firehouse.
Yes, yes, and I'm not. I'm not 100% sure. My memory doesn't always serve me well. And again, this was 30,
Did they
I think
take the trucks out?
20 something. I think they did. The trucks were out. It was, but it was actually a lovely, setup. And I want to say, I think it was one of these situations where, let's say the wedding was happening in June. The child arrived in August, I think,
Yeah.
maybe September. I'm not sure, but hey, no, just it's one of the lovely.
Right.
So we'll never forget. There was 20 something, and sometimes you things happen, and you think I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. And we're sitting there, I guess, with other friends waiting, and then it comes for the the bride walks down the aisle to. It wasn't the old dun dun da da dun, da, da.
Hmm.
It was a white lion when the children cry.
Nice. Right. Yeah.
Little girl or little child, yeah, little child, dry your crying eyes.
So
Yeah,
that's what you walk down to.
I shouldn't be singing a high note because this mic always flakes on the high note. But yeah, it was white, and it in the moment you're just sitting there going, "That's a gutsy
Yeah, it's
call."
kind of a gutsy move.
20 somewhat, 30 years, however long it lived, I don't think they're married anymore. But I wish them both well.
Who'd have bet on that?
They developed. They stuck a memory in my mind, Juan. 30 years later. But anyway, so congratulations to the Gallianos, and I believe the other families, the Oquans, whatever. But so lovely time. Lovely time was had by
Good
all.
time was had by all.
You had a big
Nice.
week.
I did. We went, it was a high school state swim meet in beautiful downtown Sulphur.
Gotta love you some sulfur.
Which, it's the last time we have to go to Sulphur. So
You still can go though. They will.
any other time will be by choice.
They will let you go.
It would be a bad choice, but it would be by choice. So I did well. My daughter's team won state, which was a nice way to go out. And she did the top swimmer award. So
That's just so blasé now. It's just you're just reporting it like, yeah, the high school team won.
I'm gonna give you a brag. So because I figured this stuff out. So in high school meets, in each meet you can swim two individual races, and two relay races. So she's swam in 4. So if you look at the quote unquote the championship meets, the city meets, which is like a district meet,
Okay.
and the state meet. So you figure in each of those she swam 2 individual events, so 8 in each over her 4-year high school career. At the high school level, she's 8-0.
Wow.
Meaning she won first place in all 8 races. At the state level, she's 7-1.
Oh man, who beat her?
I don't know. It was 9th grade, like in
ninth grade don't count.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But anyway,
Hey.
so now we're pleased with all that. But
15-1. That's state.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
some of the challenges become, and I talk about my dad a lot. I talk about my mother-in-law. They both come with us.
Good times.
Yeah, so it's riding in a car for 2.5 hours with two people who don't hear really well. Um, my dad at least acknowledges it. Yeah, she doesn't. But
Yeah, that's
so,
always fun when somebody. Yeah, that's okay. You can just say I don't hear you.
yeah, that's fine. Um, but we get to the hotel. We're staying at the Golden Nugget right there in Lake Charles. Which decent hotel. Um, but so basically the first day we check in and then we got to go to the meet. So we're just checking in and going, and then we're waiting to leave, or we're waiting, no, we're going to try to grab a quick lunch before we got to go. And so I'm waiting on my mother-in-law to come downstairs. She's taking forever for whatever reason. Then she gets down and she says, there's not a closet in the room. I said, well, there's a dresser, but we're leaving tomorrow morning, so I'm not sure what you need a closet for anyway. I said basically I could have brought a clean pair of underwear and a clean shirt, and I'd have been good. That's all I needed. I could have come in a Walmart bag. But I talked to the maid and asked her, and she said no. Then it becomes the continuum for the every person. There's not a closet in the room. Well, when that night when we get back to the room, we notice everybody has closets. All the other rooms have closets, and so the next morning when I see her, she comes in our room and says, "Yeah, it's a closet." She said, "I found it. It had the do not disturb sign hanging on it."
She thought it was
Um,
another room.
I have no clue. But then we're having a conversation about everybody thought the beds were really comfortable and pillows were great. She said, "My bed was like terrible, blah, 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 blah." I said, "Well, you know what? It had the good mattress in the closet. You just couldn't find it." So,
You gotta, it's you gotta, because we all fall into that. Some people are more prone to it than others.
oh
It's
yeah.
like, okay, is everything gonna be wrong? Is everything gonna
Well,
be a
then it
problem? And look,
became,
and I'm guilty. I do it
oh
too. I,
yeah.
I get,
Well,
I
once
get,
once one thing is wrong, I find, then I'm on a mission to find how many other things are wrong.
and that's when you want to just say, okay, what's gonna make this shorter if I disagree or agree with you,
Yeah. But
right?
so she loves the heat sheet. And if you're not familiar with swim, it's just basically it's the breakdown of the races. It's the schedule, who's racing
Sure.
and what lanes they're in and everything. She has to have that piece of paper. And then she marks it up the whole time. She goes on the app on her phone and then writes all that information on it and then
You know?
highlights certain things. Well, the first day she dropped her highlighter
Oh no.
and it went under the bleachers.
Oh no.
And so she spent that morning at the hotel walking up and down trying to find a little store in the hotel that sold highlighters.
They got, well, I guess if you're in the Nugget,
I
they
don't know. And then
might
she
have a
said,
sundry store. That you, boy, you are reaching there.
"Oh
That's
yeah." She said, "Well, do you think they clean under the bleachers?" I said, "I'm sure they do on occasion, but I guarantee you, if they did, they didn't keep your highlighter.
let's
That didn't make it to lost and found."
yeah, it's not a diamond ring. It's not
Yeah,
a
no. But then at the finals, they weren't giving out heat sheets, which
uh-oh.
ticked her off to no end. She didn't know. She said, "I don't know how I'm gonna make it through." I said, "I've been making it for 8 years or for 6 years. I don't, I've never had a heat sheet. I'm good."
You do what
Um,
you do what makes you
but
comfortable.
the athletic director got there and he leaned over and he asked me something totally unrelated. And she taps me on the shoulder. She says, "Was he asking about the heat sheets?" And I said, "Yeah, that's exactly." Yeah.
Like an enjoyable time. And I'm guessing the whole time your dad's just doing his thing.
My dad's sitting there not hearing a thing because he's got hearing aids, but they're in the shop. So
He's got hearing aids, but that
yeah,
we have some people in our orbit, so to speak, that do require hearing aids, as most of us. I mean, listen,
yeah, I could probably use some.
listen, 100%. I don't know that I'm gonna. Chances are, with all the earbuds and
Hmm.
the years of big
Yeah,
headsets pounding, chances are. But I'm always, it's always one of those things when you have hearing aids, but you choose not to wear them,
yeah,
or you're wearing them, but you choose not to turn them on, or
yeah,
do whatever you have to do. I mean, I don't know if that's still a thing, but it's sort of.
yeah. No, you can turn 'em on. My brother-in-law has some, and he's younger than you. Um, but he has them. But he's got an app on his phone that controls them, and it's basically like, on your car stereo, or just like you can set it for, okay, this
That
is rock music. This is easy listening. He can set the environment through the app.
well, technology, man,
Yeah.
technology. We were trying to get my mom. Talking about technology. We got my mom an Apple Watch this past time down to just it's one of those you get to a certain age where okay, let's say the phone.
Well, you fall down, you're by yourself.
Right, correct.
I think an Apple Watch, you can even set it that
Yes, that
if it, if,
it
yeah,
will call. And I
yeah,
think it's sort of like Med Alert had those things, but
yeah,
and you kind of, but it's not funny. Well, funny now, but it's never as easy as you think it's going to be to get things hooked up. And I give my wife and my nephew that was there just credit for, um, it's not the patience because my mom she can do whatever you need her to do, but we're trying to figure out, okay, how do you hook the watch up and what version of the
yeah.
phone
See,
is
I've never
this? And
had an Apple Watch, never used one. My
ev-
wife has one, my daughter has one. They're both, yeah. I got no clue.
they can't. Yeah, I don't wear an Apple Watch. Both my sons
Hmm.
do. My wife did until I think the last few years, where she's tired of people tracking everything, and
Yeah,
she's tired of stuff listening. She goes hardcore, man. I mean, she's a pay cash, don't wear an Apple Watch kind of person now, man. I mean, my wife has very serious terrorist or drug dealer
she's married
uh,
to you.
profile. At least I don't. I just got to the point though, later, like earlier in life, I didn't want to carry a bunch of cash on me because, if you lose your wallet or whatever, you don't
Yeah.
want to. That's what I always trained my sons, like, don't, because they never really paid cash for stuff. They were always, they came of age where they would pay for everything with a debit card or a credit card, that just,
Hmm.
or maybe Venmo, whatever. But they didn't pay with cash. So every time somebody gave them cash, you just stuck it in their wallet,
Yeah.
and it just never got spent. It just never got. And I can remember a few years ago, just randomly, we were somewhere, and both my sons, and I was mad at one of them having like $225 cash in his wallet. I was really mad at him until I found out the other one had like $400 cash.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, hey, look, we're not a bunch of Rockefeller. It's just like Christmas or
No, this
birthdays.
was, yeah, years ago. Like it was, so yeah, 20 years ago. And LSU was in the first national championship. I may have told this story before, but so what? Um, we didn't get tickets for it, but we kept going down. And then it was, my wife's a big LSU fan, and it was like, okay. And she said, well, I think this is before we were married. She said, well, I'm willing to spend some or whatever. I said, well, I don't even want to know. Yeah, whatever you willing to do, that's fine. Um, but so we went down like 3 days in a row, and I had, the money was in my wallet, which I never use a wallet, so I never pulled the wallet or looked at it.
Right.
And then the day of the thing, we're in like on Bourbon Street, and some dudes offers us tickets, and I mean it was like, yeah, 2 tickets over $1,000. And she says, okay, and I said, have I been walking around freaking New Orleans for 3 days with more than $1,000 in my wallet? Are you nuts?
Here's the part of the story that's the weird part to me, is that you don't even look at your wallet,
I don't have a wallet.
but you had it on then,
I
right?
had it on the then. Yeah. I just
So
didn't want to know because in situations like that, I knew she was real excited to go. And I'm sure it was her money.
I'd have been curious enough to look in my wallet, see what
Uh,
I'm carrying. I'm just
Well,
I'm just saying, but
there are times that I just rather not know things.
I got you. I got you. Well, sort of, we just touched on a little bit with sports. So I don't know that this is going to happen. I think it probably will. So holidays are coming up. Like I said, Thanksgiving is this week, and Christmas, and we're trying to, do the family deal, and when can we go? This one's working. This one's in school. The family. It's as we said on the bayou. It's a radot. It's a radot to start trying to figure everything
Yeah.
out.
And you're going to get to a point, and I'm kind of to that point where it's like, hey,
Right.
we
Yeah.
go. If you show up, you can. If
Yeah.
you
Right.
can't,
Right. So, but this time we're pretty sure my youngest son is going to come here. Will be Christmas here. Well, the Houston Texans are playing at home on Christmas Day. So I was not sure about, do we want to do
You could
that?
watch that game in a very stuttered motion on Netflix.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. So and I'm back and forth between, I'm hoping the
And you
weather's
got your
not,
tickets.
I've got two though. I mean, I've
Okay.
only got two, so I got to hustle up two more tickets. But
Uh,
okay, and I wasn't going to do it, but then a lot of our friends and their families are coming,
yeah.
and the tailgating is really a bunch of fun. And you know what? Let's think honestly. We go to church the day before Christmas. We go to church on Christmas Eve. You might do presents that night or the next day.
Right. And
Christmas
if it's
Day,
just your family, if you,
yeah,
yeah, like if you're
yes.
not having outsiders there,
So Christmas Day is like, you know what? That might not be the worst thing to do. We'll
right, you're
go
still
to
with your family. It's,
we'll go tailgating and we'll go to and I'm thinking, well, just get, I just to pick up two more tickets, and whatever they cost, and probably not gonna be much. It's Christmas Day. Who the heck wants to go to a
yeah.
game on Christmas Day, afternoon? And then they announced the halftime show. And oh my gosh,
Oh, is it Beyonce?
it's Beyonce.
Oh Lord, man, they must be paying her some bucks.
I don't know what they pay, you think, right? But and all of a sudden, every moron in Houston,
Hmm.
and look, it's halftime, y'all. It ain't gonna be a full show. That's what I want to,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
that's all,
yeah. The halftime at a football game, at an NFL game, 12 minutes.
yeah, but they're gonna, darn well on Christmas Day they're
I
gonna
guess they may stretch it, but still, you got to get time. Yeah, got to
yeah.
lug the stage out there. Got to break it down.
Okay, and I'm trying to think. So what she and I honestly, and I'm not making this up. I know three of her songs, and one of them is the horrible country song she came out with not
I
long
don't know
ago.
that. I only know that, I may know more, but the only one
Put a
that
ring
I
on it.
know is that Put a Ring on or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. And then I think she has one about I'll be back in a minute. You don't know about me or something. There's a line of you don't know. I don't know. I think that's her song. Anyway, now actually when I told my younger son that, he was actually, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I thought he would be, because I told him, I said, all right, he would say, because he doesn't pay attention to anything. So I
Yeah.
said, yeah, but anyway, I got one extra ticket. I still got to hustle one up. Although I may do the fatherly thing and just stay outside of the tailgate and drink my own beer.
Hey, I'd be willing to bet in the second half you could just waltz in there.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I'll bet you anything. It'll be the quietest the bathrooms have ever been during. Although maybe not. Well, I guess
You
even
get a
the
lot of
guys will
dudes.
stay.
The women's bathroom will
They're
probably
going to
be
be empty.
pretty open.
But I told my son. So we're driving down together yesterday, day before, and I said, "Yeah," I said, "we'll probably do Christmas Texans game," and I said, "But it's getting a little ridiculous. I still got to hustle up one other ticket because of the halftime show." He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, who do you think, like Houston? Who'd be the biggest act you could get Houston?" He said, "Travis Scott." I went, "Dude, we would not be going to the
Could at least
game.
go to ZZ Top or something.
We would not be going to no. Travis Scott apparently is massive, but that's a different. Put it this way: the last time he did something like Astro World, whatever the last concert he had here, I think they still have
Oh,
lawsuits and
that's the one with all
everybody got killed, stomped,
yeah.
killed. Yeah, yeah, it was a mess. But and I told him no, it's Beyonce. And then he said not Beyonce. I said, yeah, Beyonce. He goes, oh, I guess
So,
that is bigger. But so anyway, so
well, a
Juan,
lesser known artist. We went to a concert. The contemporary Christian band Maverick City Music played in New Orleans Friday night at UNO. Uh, and I'm not a small fella, but I'm not the largest guy, in the world. Went to the restroom. The little partitions between, dividers between the urinals. I couldn't even get my shoulders in there. And at least they're not deep, so I can still, you know, uh, without making a mess,
where
relieve myself.
where was this again?
UNO, the Lakefront Arena.
What they doing in them skinny stalls, man? That's college
I
students.
don't know, but yeah, just it was weird, and it
Have
was
you been around
after.
South Louisiana at all? We ain't small
Tell me
people,
about it.
man.
Tell me about it. This was a day. So we drove back from Sulphur Thursday night, and like I said, my wife wanted to go to dinner with the swim parents, and it's like I don't want to do nothing with the swim parents. I have no desire to go to dinner with 20 people.
That's one of those, nothing personal, but I can't think of anything I want to do less right now.
It's
Yeah.
No, I got a long drive home. Then I got to go to Pankerville to
Correct.
bring my dad home.
You're like me. Don't give me, my night's not over. Like you
Right.
thinking we're going to do an hour dinner. No, we're not.
Right.
Because I got to, 100%. I
Right.
got you.
I'm dropping y'all off at 10:30, 11 o'clock. I still got 2 hours to go on the road.
Correct.
Y'all
So
gonna be good in the sleep when I get home.
I don't think you're a bad guy. Yeah, I don't think you're the bad guy saying, hey. No. But of course you probably didn't.
I know I did it. But then I had to go to Lafayette on Friday before I went to New Orleans on Friday.
I was there Thursday. I drove through Lafayette at 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
Dude, this was like at 1 in the afternoon.
Hey.
And it's like an extra 2 hours to get home. It's like 3 hours. We were planning to leave at 4:30 for the concert, so I've still got a shower and everything. So I'm sitting here in traffic, and I get to a part where I can see it's almost to the Baton Rouge Bridge, probably 6 miles from there. But I see there's a service road on the side of the interstate, but there's a fence, like a chain link fence dividing it. Or dividing the interstate from that service road.
Okay.
And it may not be a service road, it just could be a highway that runs parallel to the interstate.
But it looked open.
Yeah. So I found a spot where the fence was broken.
There you go.
But it was muddy as all get out.
You're in a Jeep.
I pulled over, I dropped that Jeep in 4-wheel drive, baby. Crossed over the knockdown chain link fence. I was hightailing it, man. Just, passing people up like there was no tomorrow.
And did it eventually feed back onto the road?
It fed back on, but I passed up a lot of the heavy traffic.
It's the way to do it, man.
Save myself 20 minutes on that drive.
I did it today. So first of all, I don't want to leave the Lafayette thing. And I know we've talked about this before, and with all due respect, hey, Lafayette, get better. Who designed Lafayette? I mean, and look, and I know I'm born and raised and cut off in Galliana, and we went to school in Thibodeau, and it's a smaller place than Lafayette. Yeah, I love that one. I love when Lafayette people want to like pretend that they're a big city, well, it's bigger than Thibodeau. Yeah, right. Okay, a lot of things are. All right. But Lafayette, you guys are not nearly big enough to have the mess of traffic you have. I mean, that's just.
Dude, and this is the thing. You can go to the same place in Lafayette 3 days in a row, and Waze or whatever GPS you use will take you 3 different ways.
Juan, coming through Lafayette this time. Yeah, exactly. And then we're bad this way. My wife does one. I don't want. We'll have Waze, Apple Maps, and Google Maps running at the same time. And it's funny times they don't all agree and stuff like. Yeah, I was driving through neighborhoods to get to. It was, but anyway, it's so.
Well, the main roads, dude. If you think New Orleans has bad roads, the roads in Lafayette are atrocious.
Okay, let's just dump on Lafayette. All right, there you go. So again, we'll just leave it out there. Lafayette, be better. Try to be better. Couple things here I wanted to make sure, because I know that you'd relate to not relate, but it would hit you. You passed away this week, and I know he was an old favorite of yours, Chuck Woolery.
Chuck Woolery, I wrote that down, man. 2 and 2.
I remember you saying that. He would say, "We'll be back in
2 and
2. 2 and 2. What was your theory? He had Wheel of Fortune, but why they ended up getting rid of him?
I don't remember.
You said that because he was too good at nailing the money.
Yeah, that's right. He did the highest dollar
man,
value.
Whenever Chuck
Lick
would
his
give that,
fingers and whatever the
Chuck
high
would
dollar
give that
value
wheel the last spin, he was running them broke. Chuck was just a machine, so they ended up bringing in Pat Sajak.
But I didn't realize like he was an actor and a musician as well. I read his obit this week. That like in the 60s and stuff, he was in a couple bands, and I think he wrote some songs.
Multi-talented guy. Well, listen, and this is times are different now. And now everybody's a star. Everybody has a platform. Everybody has and quote unquote stars. Most of them are not. There's no talent. Yeah. There's zero talent. Back in the old days, and that's if you were on TV, you probably had more going for you than your hair. You know what I mean? These people, same thing with old movie stars. You look at the Dick Van Dykes and the Gene Kellys. I mean, heck, I'll bet you John Wayne could dance if you made him. These guys had talent. They could do, And that's what's all so weird. You see old clips of some of these movie stars or whatever, and they're singing, and you're like,
Right.
hey, they're pretty good. But yeah, your boy Chuck, man, he was. And I was thinking about this when I read this, and maybe it's that era. So he was a pretty conservative guy. I mean, he
Well,
was.
I think he did in recent years. I mean, he used to do hits on Fox News. I think he
Yeah,
had some really conservative podcasts.
very conservative. Pat Sajak, very conservative. Who was I thinking of back in the day? Johnny Carson. Now, he played it right down the middle, but Johnny Carson and Reagan were buds, and Johnny Carson was pretty conservative. Jay Leno, he doesn't. He knows how to play the game. Pretty conservative. And I was
Yeah.
going in my head saying, what is it about game show and talk show hosts? A lot of them, or maybe just the good ones. I don't know.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. They're all. That's yeah, we didn't look, we're this far into the podcast. We're like almost 3/4 into the podcast, and we haven't even talked about they're still trying to start World War III.
Dude.
I read
Well, you saw what's his name? Big heavy set director from Minnesota. I think I forgot his name.
Michael Moore.
Yeah.
He's
Like
still
he
around.
did
I
an
had no idea. So I did not see whatever you're about to tell me. I did not see, but
he did an op-ed today trashing Biden, saying, instead of going down as one of the greatest presidents ever, he's going down as a warmonger.
oh, listen, find a clip. There's a clip right now with Joe Rogan, and I really can't. And Joe's on a roll now, but yeah, he was using some language talking about what the bleep are these people doing.
Yeah.
And I read something not long before we came on tonight, and it was a Tucker Carlson thing. And whatever you think about Tucker, I mean, he's one of these lightning rod things, and I think he's one of these guys that's funny. I love 90% of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just think, yep, right, and then he gets off sometimes. He's really fascinated with the aliens, and I'll give him that. He was telling a story the other day about being attacked by a demon. I mean, literally, it's a story about being attacked by a demon. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to, okay, I get you.
Oh, that he was?
He was. Had the marks on him. Yeah. So that's sort of one of those, man, I kind of wish you wouldn't have told that.
Just leave that to yourself.
Yeah, but I get it. I get it. But he had talking about something today, and it's scary because I can see this. And he's basically saying, and we've said this before, everybody's always lying. We know everybody's lying.
Yeah.
But some of the people that have been in charge for the past, 20, 30, 40 years, their secrets are so dark. And so many of these people have, if stuff comes to the light of day, their biggest fear of Trump is the stuff he's threatening.
That he's going to release stuff. Yeah.
Oh, the Epstein files, what are we doing with those bio labs in Ukraine? Nobody talks about that anymore. Hey, ain't it funny how we're so where there are people who would at a minimum have their reputations ruined. Many would be in jail, fortunes lost, that kind of stuff. And he basically saying the only way to stop it is to start World War III. Like, how do you take your eye? And basically saying, and it might not even be with Russia. If they can start one with Iran.
Right. Remember what was the movie? The Tail Wags the Dog or something?
And you think, no, that would never happen, but absolutely. But it makes you stop and think, honestly. Why, again, whatever side, and I always want to hear the other side of the argument. Whatever side you fall on, how does it work that somebody who hasn't really been president for a while, you don't know who's in charge and what my man Joe's doing, and okay, he can't run because
and you were against it the whole time, and then suddenly
But you're done. So there's been an election, and this other guy won, and as close to a landslide as you could possibly have these days. Because as we do this, when was the election? November 5th?
Weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. There's still some parts of California counting votes. That is no lie. No. They flipped the House. The cheating is off the charts.
Yeah.
But so we're 2 months from total regime, and people, a big part, besides the economy, which is huge, a big part of that wave was American people saying, okay, enough. How about this? They were going back to the guy that didn't start any more wars. Like, hey, let's.
And typically the lame duck year, you don't do a lot of big stuff,
Much
let
less the last
alone
2 months.
post-election when
Did
your
you
party lost.
did you see the G20? And I mean, nobody pays attention to it. I would not pay attention to it. It was only the clip I saw that made me say, okay, part of it was funny, but part of it was like, oh my God, this is
Well, that's
where.
when, when people were starting to come out and say, all right, he's got to go now. He's got to resign.
Well, no, that might have been part of it. I'm talking about when they went to take a picture.
Yeah.
They were outside on, I guess, two layers. It wasn't bleachers, but it was like a stage kind of deal. And it's
Yeah.
a quote
Risers.
unquote G20, and it's all. I don't know why it's a G20 because some of those countries are jokes, but okay, whatever. There's supposed to be 20 the world leaders, and they couldn't find Biden. He wasn't there. He was off doing whatever he was doing. Lost. Who knows? But you hear the camera people as they're starting to taking pictures and the family, like, where's President Biden? Where's you him? Where's Biden? Pictures, and some are kind of think like, are they taking the picture? And then the leaders they took the pictures, they left, and they said, "Oh, they found him. They found Biden. He's off. He's off. He'll be here in about 2 or 3 minutes." They left. The G20 just said, "No."
Yeah, we're done, man. Yeah,
Because,
and I think those type of issues, the fact him getting lost, and I don't know what else he said, but it prompted, I don't know, some wacko Democrats to say, we need to make Kamala president now. Like, you don't even know where she is.
she's in Hawaii. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know if she's back, but that's the thing. It is the most bizarro world, and I don't think that's even a partisan thing to ask. Who's running things right now?
Well, I heard today a new poll, and I guess they're still taking polls as to, your satisfaction rate post-election with Trump's transition so far.
It's pretty high.
The highest segment, people under 30.
Oh, it
With
is.
people who never
Mhm.
go conservative.
It is, yeah, and a big part of that is the appeal through the podcast, through reaching
Well, and did we talk last week about all of the athletes now doing the
yeah.
Trump dance and everything?
Oh, here's okay, athletes. So I was not at the Texans game this past week, which they found a way to lose to the Titans. My Texans are looking
Dude,
PU.
ever since that, was it the Sunday night game that they choked at the end?
We had Detroit beat. We had Detroit, which is probably the best team in the league. We had
Right.
them beat and blew it, and man, it's been ugly. So I
I did
wasn't
like
at the
those
game.
red helmets, though.
Yeah, I wasn't at the game. So
Okay.
the only thing I saw was some text from the guys and one of my friends on Facebook saying we're so awful, whatever. So I guess we didn't win. But I don't know if I showed you that or told you that my neighbor lent a Trump flag. So they're flying the uh, the well, we tailgate and they have some big flags: American
Mhm.
flag, Texan flag, Texas flag, and they swapped out one whatever with. But the fourth flag they put up was this was like right after the election, a Trump "Make America." It's a picture of him, like it's whatever "Make America," and it's whatever. And I tell you, the game it went up there, people stopping, hey, pointing, taking pictures. I mean,
Well, you're gonna see more MAGA hats now.
okay. But
That
here's
all the shadow voters, shadow MAGA people.
and before people think like, oh well, yeah, you got a Trump flag. I don't want to say half, but a good percentage of the people that tailgate with us, they, one, look, we are the multi ethnicity. We've got
Mhm.
whites, African Americans, Hispanics. I mean, that's what's kind of funny. You go to a football game. I say that before. Um, this people get along, and I'm sure some of them don't. We kind of joke about that. Nobody's a problem. So apparently they had it up this game, and after the game, they got a note that I guess somebody came around and security there, and you can't have political signs at the tailgates.
It's
They
not a
have to.
political sign. You're supporting your president.
That's what my wife said when I told her that. I said, hey, it's not a political sign anymore. It's like just don't put George Washington up there, man. But
Yeah.
so I don't know if we're gonna want to tempt the
Yeah, you don't get kicked out of there.
well, I got threatened. I didn't tell that story. It's I'm shortening it, but I ended up. I got a cop that threatened to throw me out of the parking lot for what did I do? I was pulling in pretty early in the morning, and they let me in the service area, but they didn't have a sign that said, "Okay, this lane is for people workers." And this
Mhm.
other lane that's not moving is for the tailgaters. Well, there's no sign out there to tell you that. So I pull in, and the guy says, "Who you work for?" And I'm like, I don't.
Myself.
I'm just yeah. I'm just a. No, we don't. You guys can't come in for another 10 minutes. And I mean, the parking lot's huge parking lot. It's
Yeah.
open. I'm like, huh? I said, well, I can't. How do I get? Yeah, just go make a U-turn over there, and you can come out this way. And I'm like, uh, okay. So I advance. I get a little ways. I look, they ain't looking. I just take off. I go off to the side, near where the employees would park, and I eventually make my way toward the front. And then I say, oh no, and I turn back around, man. Here comes this car. And this guy came out, and he claimed to be security, claimed to be a cop. I don't know, but he was angry, angry. If I describe, let's put it this way, he wasn't a Trump voter. I'm gonna go on a guess, and he was mad at me, and I can see a little bit of him being mad at me. This is what you get. I'm for not listening. Now you're not gonna go to the game. We're throwing you out of here, and I'm looking at him going, relax, relax. I said, I wasn't, I'm just saying, I said, I didn't, I just swung back around. You see the way I'm going.
Yeah, it's like, how you gonna stop me from going to the game? Maybe I don't even have tickets, bro. I'm just coming here with a tailgate.
Well, I just told him, I said, I just swung by there to see if the other gate was open, if the guys were there. I said, and you see the way I'm heading out right. So then I did have to leave the parking lot and go get in another freaking line and come in. And I probably did spend the first 10 minutes saying, I'll see if this guy shows up. But, But no. I mean, and I was polite. I don't think the cops
that's the kind of guy you got to walk, hope to find after the game.
I don't think,
see a game.
Yeah, I don't.
No,
I don't think most cops like it when you tell them to relax.
No,
but he didn't look like a real cop to me. He looked like no, bro, you're not a cop. You like security at a Texans game. Like you might be like a third of a step above the Walmart greeter when it comes to crime control. And by the way, I was annoyed by that. I was in Thibodaux last night late. I say late after about 9:00, 9:30. Thibodaux, Walmart. I do the self-service checkout, and I'm walking out, and the dude stops me. Guy in front of me, he just looks at him, says, "You good?" And I'm like, how is he good? And I'm not good. He's got a bag that I guarantee you, it looks like, yeah, you didn't look at his receipt. You didn't look at nothing. You just look at, and I'm not judging, but I'm saying that guy looks like he could.
He looks at least as likely to commit a crime.
I'm not profiling, but I'm just telling you, if that guy gets the thumbs up, you good. How come I don't get the thumbs up, you good? And I kind of, when I got to the house in Thibodaux, I made that joke. I said, I felt like I was profiled. And then my nephew said, Uncle Dave, I think he probably knew that you didn't shoplift anything, and he didn't want the extra work. So
he's got to check some people.
He's got to check some people, and if he checks the guy that probably did just shoplift something, man, you got to do paperwork.
He's got, might have to chase the guy.
He said they don't get it. They don't get incentive
for
stopping.
9:30. He's probably getting off at 10.
They don't get incentive for stopping theft. So that guy gets the, hey, you good, and they made sure that you. I said, well, I feel like going back and stealing something now. I'm gonna.
Should have said, I bet this because I'm from Cutoff.
He heard the accent. Had somebody there. One of the fiancés of one of my nephews were joking about stuff, and she one night she said, Mr. Dave, it's funny. Your accent is as strong as anybody else's, and you don't live here. You haven't lived there for a long time. I said, babe. But I talk to people from the bayou every day, and I've had a few beers, and
that makes it worse.
That's a combination. And I find myself when I start telling the stories, I get like that.
That's right. When you're telling old stories, you got to talk old dialect.
Of course you do. I chopped those crepe myrtles down while I was there too.
Oh,
yeah, that was fun with an axe. More like a hatchet. I don't know what's the definition. It's a big hatchet, I guess. I guess not technically an axe.
Yeah, somewhere between.
Big enough, bigger than a Boy Scout hatchet, but smaller than a full bore, Abe Lincoln kind of axe. It was you can do a lot of damage with it. I was much better saw, but came home with poison oak.
Oh Lord.
No, poison oak is terrible. I don't know. Maybe it's just the older I am that I used to sort of brush that stuff off. I mean, not, so much, but my son.
I wonder today, both of the top of my hands were itching.
Oh,
and
I got something nasty. I'll put it up. I mean, I got some calamine on there. Oh, dude, it's bad. It's like, sorry to gross anybody out there, but yeah, I'm dealing with some poison. And I knew when it happened. I had gloves on, and good gloves, and I had long sleeves. But man, when you're pulling a big poison oak vine, like ripping that thing out the ground, I think it got me. One of its defying, one of that poison oak vines, defying, what's the word I'm looking for? Actions.
Jumping through, man. Jumping through.
What's jumping through?
It's the stuff is jumping through. Now look, I'm looking at email here. The day I told them I couldn't work at church is the day they're asking me to work. I digress.
I'm about to say. Well, we're about right. We're about at punch out time. I'm like, wait, Juan's actually doing work while
it's not work, it's not volunteer stuff, man.
All right,
maybe I misfiled the report.
The last little story here. So I'm still shy a wedding ring. I got to go get a wedding ring. I was looking, the other day, and I told my wife I'm not going to get one on my own. She has to be with me, like it or not.
Yeah.
She has to.
She ought to go get it for you. Didn't she pick out the original one?
Thank you. I don't know that she did. She might have. She was at least there. I mean, it was at least there when it happened. So I think it'd be very appropriate for us 31 years later to be at Walmart buying a wedding ring. Or I think she said Macy's had them for I don't know, some kind of big sale, but whatever. So I'm shy of that. Now she has her wedding rings. We're going to this wedding, and she has jewelry that she doesn't wear often. And I'm not cheap. I've never been cheap, but like I used to, I guess, I was really dumb with some. So I bought her a couple things in the past that were pretty nice, and one was a pretty decent diamond. I mean, nice. It must have been a big anniversary or something, but it's one of those koyai. Oh, look at that. You know what I'm saying? One of those, not as big as, but it's real. I'm gonna tell you that it ain't fake. Though, it's a legit, pretty dang expensive ring. And she had it with some other things, I guess, in a box. She couldn't find it. Now, can't find it. Because it's been a long time. She's probably been almost a year. That's the kind of jewelry it is. She doesn't wear it for anything. But it's like, okay.
Very special occasion jewelry.
So she's looking for it. And, I'm like, oh, it's fine. And I'm not even that upset. It's like, because I guess, especially, I lost a ring. So now this ring is way more than mine. So she can't find it. Did the stuff I said. I'm trying to be helpful, but it's never helpful when well, honey, do you remember when was the last time and
that's a special event.
And then so we couldn't think about it and can't find the box. She's describing the box to me, and I really don't want her to describe the box to me, because then you're almost giving me, like, I don't know, I got a feeling like I'm going to end up getting pulled in and getting blamed for something that I did.
Yeah. Not the box I threw away.
Well, that was the thing, no, and I wouldn't do that. And then we've already had this conversation, and it was changed. I said, well, where do you used to keep it? Well, I used to keep it in the pocket of my robe hanging in the closet. And I'm like, that's an awful place to, I guess you saw that somewhere about the hide valuables in places people won't look for them. And I'm thinking, I ain't worried about a criminal. We got bigger problems if we got a criminal in our house going through our stuff, right? It's far more likely that robe is going to get tossed or lost right. Can't find the ring. And she's good. I mean, just all over, it's just not, just honey, and then she's digging through something just randomly under the sink, under, like, we all got junk drawers and stuff like that. But there's under one of her sink, and it's where just various stuff you probably haven't seen in 2 years. Just stuff. Might be some curlers, hair dryers, whatever. Freaking ring is just sitting at the bottom of a pile of assorted, I'm going to say junk, but
less valuable.
Not in the box, not with anything else, just sitting there. And I'm like, I don't even want to know the story about how, of course, we're Catholic, so she and her mom both start saying, well, I was praying to this saint, and I was praying to that saint.
Hit St. Jude up or whatever for that.
There you go, St. Jude. So I don't know where it is now, but that was bizarro. Like, I was glad she found it, but part of me was thinking, oh man, I got no guilt at all about losing my wedding ring. That's the weird part of it, right? Saying, man, now I'm never gonna feel bad about losing the wedding ring because you could buy like 30 wedding rings.
Right. It's like, hey, I lost it, but I still placed more value on it
I
than.
must have. I kept it. Yeah, I didn't. Mine wasn't just in the bottom of
Yeah,
the.
I didn't lose it because I threw it under the sink.
Oh, yeah. What the? That's part of me is like, what the? I know you weren't doing plumbing. How the heck did you? But there you go. The happy part of it is she actually found it, wore it to the wedding, and got her shoes wet. So there you go.
Yeah.
Still a happy ending. Speaking of a happy ending, it's about time, yo.
The good of the ending is in it.
Buffet has laid before you. We're going to push the button, get on out of here, see if any of this stuff stuck to tape. Yeah, we hope it did. If you want to reach us, not hard, Dave and Juan at protonmail.com. And of course,
And right here, wherever you are.
wherever you are, I was getting gas, wherever I was getting gas, somewhere in Homa. And they almost got big old flat screen TVs now. You could have big enough screens on the gas pumps now. We should be on those things.
Yeah.
We should.
I don't think they just let you on there for free.
They should.
I don't know. Wherever I get gas though, it's a Shell station, and every time I'm putting gas, the little TV plays. I don't know what the commercial is, but it sounds like an old Depeche Mode song to me. So I'm kind of getting into it.
Yeah, that's your favorite pump now. Well, so wherever it is, so wherever you're listening, you're on your way to work, you're at Thanksgiving, you're about ready to fall asleep on the sofa from going to a food coma. Have fun with that. But find us there. We're gonna be back.
Yeah, we're there.
Probably on Monday. This time it's a little because I don't got plans this weekend, so I think we're good. Now,
I got nothing going on either, which means my weekend will probably fall apart.
All right. Every week we tell you, and this week might even be a little bit easier or challenging. We tell you to have the best week you possibly can. Live your best life, y'all. Live your best life. It's not a hint, suggestion, subtle implication. It's a freaking
mandate. Eat your way to it.
You go do you. Have a great week. Make it a great week. Thanksgiving. Hopefully some of you have family, and if you have family, get along. Pretend. Get along.
Yeah, it don't have to be that way. There's a good chance that if your family doesn't want to come to Thanksgiving because of political reasons, they didn't vote the same way we did.
Yeah, and just go ahead and take it as a gift. If they don't show up, just say love them anyway. Save them some dinner rolls. Okay, and if you don't have any family to be with, hey, we're your family right here.
There you go.
Right here. Just prop us up. If you're listening on audio, go find it on the video, and Juan and I'll just pause.
There's probably one or two along the way you missed. That you
okay, Juan. So right now we're just gonna look at the camera and go. Okay, so just pause that, y'all, and pretend me and Juan are sitting at the Thanksgiving table with your lonely self, but you're our favorite person, the person that.
That's right. That's right.
All right,
come on over.
Go to Juan's. I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know where I'm going to be on Thanksgiving, but hopefully it'll be a nice one with family. All right, everybody. We wish you a happy and a safe one. Those of you that are doing a lot of traveling, please be careful out there. Watch them can trucks. Those things are still going to be rolling.
Be careful in Lafayette.
Well, you don't have to be careful in Lafayette. It crawls through there. But anyway, have a fantastic one, everybody. We will see you next week. Love you, bro.
Back at you, man. We are always, Edie White's the big competitor. And I've gotten to know several of their parents, mostly, just because we always sit next to them at the stateswomen meeting. It's typical people. So I go talk to them. Well, they always, they're like, they just wear like things, very supportive things of the team. This year, all the dads for the finals had Hawaiian shirts on with their kids' pictures.
Oh, okay.
And some of them even had shorts on with the same thing. And I told a couple of them, I said, I tell you what, you ought to have been happy if my daughter swam for your team, but I'd have disappointed you as a parent because there ain't no way in hell I would have put those goofy things on.
Tell me you go to a private school without telling me you go to a private school.
Not happening. And then another thing on the drive back. So, again, we talked about earlier, I got 2 hours after I dropped people off in Baton Rouge. So I'm dropping, my mother-in-law off at her house in her effort to make it seem like, make it easier on me. She says, "You can just drop me off by the door." Well, was I gonna? You think I'm pulling into the house? I'm not sure where you thought I was dropping you off. Uh, but then she's getting her suitcase out of the back of the car,
Oh, okay.
and she says, "I don't need that other stuff. I can just get it later." Which means later, me going back there. The stuff she didn't take, a jacket and a stadium chair for the bleachers. And she said, "I got other jackets." She said, I won't need that tomorrow. And I said, "I won't need it ever." Still in my car.
At least she knows where the closets are in her house.
Yeah, there you go.
It's over. Go home.